This is day 666 of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi. Today's Arukh HaShulchan Yomi is sponsored by my friend Chabrusa, Reb Daniel Kislin, in Schos for Fuhr Shlema for his father, Avram Zcharia ben Miriam. Fuhr Shlema b'mheira. Today we are doing Siman Shin Sadi Ches, still Shin Sadi Ches, Yud Aleph to Yud Zayin. You have Irosui can mean gum. See, which is made like a gum, which is a gamma. Shukafivani, which is a Greek chaf. She can mean dalit sabucha, which is like a reverse dalit. We are still Kikesh, the city which is made like a bow, like a chatzi eagle, like a half circle. The bottom was steel eagle, and the houses are in the around the circle. Customer Amber Kav Ches Din Ches Zel Shono. Yesh Ben Shnei Rosheh approximately Arba Alafim Amma between the two ends of the two sides. Let's look at it as a U. Between the two sides of the U, here and here, less than 4,000 amos. Yeser. Then you count from, this is a bow, right? From the imaginary string, which would stretch across here. Right? There's a bow, a string. The Volume is called Rochosh Venakeshes by Yeser. We see all of the expanse between the bow and the string. Ki'ilu Humoli Batim, as if it's full of houses. Better Arba Lafim. It was more than 4,000 amos between the two sides of the U. You have to measure 2,000 amos from the bow itself. The reason is the Kshiyesh. Less than 4,000 amos between the two heads. So the tchumim of each head is kind of like a Venn diagram. It's absorbed. Although Venn diagram, I think has three. Never mind. Anyway, the two tchumim they overlap in the middle. So it's 2,000 amos, less than 2,000 amos. It's less than 4,000 amos. So the 2,000 amos overlap in the middle. So they're all like one. When the 4,000 amos have a each side of the U has its own tchum, which doesn't overlap with the other. Then when he has to measure. One has to measure from its from its area, and the other side from its area. We don't see the empty space in the middle kingdom bottom as if it's full of houses. Because they're not connected to each other, even in this virtual connection for a scenario. Generally, don't measure as they are because it's a curved city. It's like a U, it doesn't have corners, and we need corners. You make a corner for each of the sides of the U. You make a rectangle for each of the sides of the U. And don't see all the vacant space in the middle as if it's full of houses. Answer to Tikkun Sharei Yesh Zavios. It's like a gam, right? So then it already has corners, so you don't have to corner it off. The whole year seems to be anything which is made like a bow. Gam ein ben shnei rosha arba alafim, and there is between the two sides 4,000 amos. And the mechshir kulachar, it's still considered one city, one entity. Vroim kilu malibatim, we see this is full of houses. Nevertheless, but although that is true, on the outer sides of the bow, you have to add until it looks like a square. So the bottom of the bow, obviously, the bottom of the U, you have to square it off. But these parts, compelled to say, as we shall see. You're going to tell us that is where the imaginary string would be. Would he count from there or not? Is that it has to do with whether the tchum overlap. But you for sure need a square. Mr. Bura writes, same thing. Yud base. So took us garments made like the gamma. Okamin cash like a bow. Right now, so kiluhi murubas. Look at square mleabati full of houses. Moila mina yes you count from the string. By any meaning, she'ain bain yes lakeshes. This is when there isn't between the string and the bow elapine. We're talking about the bottom of the bow now, right? It can't be more 2,000 amos from the bottom of the bow to the string. The less than 2,000 you can get there. Oz Madim Lemon acid they count from the string. I feel Yesh Ben Roshtewa Arba Luffy Hamad. Even they can do it from there, even if it's between the two edges. Besides, 4,000 amos. So maybe finish. Mr. Bura Big Smoke Avram says that doesn't work only for those who live at the edge of the bow, that they can go from one head of the bow to the other head of the bow, even though it's more than 4,000 amos. But it doesn't work for those who sit at the other end of the bow, bottom end of the U, that they should count from the imaginary string on top. But Achronim are arguing that in B'nai Avram, and there they say it works even for those who sit at the roof of the bow, meaning on the curvature of the U, that they should count from the imaginary string there to Shabbos as well. Okay, so we have two possibilities: where the two sides within 4,000 amos of each other, and when the yeser is less than 2,000 amos from the top of the bottom, in this case, of the U. Back to Arukh HaShulchan. So he said, right? Those are two scenarios. One scenario just gave less than 2,000 amos from the U curvature to the imaginary string, or when they're less than 4,000 amos across from the two sides to each other. When the tchumim absorbed each other, I feel yeshman yes the keshes yes me mama. In this case, with 4,000 amos across, they are overlapping. Even there's more than 2,000 amos to the bottom of the U. In Bain, I will yesh Bain yes the keshes yes me mama. But between the imaginary string and the bow, there's more than 2,000 amos. And as well, there between the two sides, 4,000 amos. Yes, you can't come from the imaginary string. Rather from the place where it doesn't remain, the bow doesn't remain. I'm sorry. You can either measure from the place on the U, which is less than 2,000 amos, from the imaginary string. There's also the Torah speaking, right? Or the place where the sides of the U come close together, so they're not 4,000 overlapped, or the 2,000 amos each side. La Tour, according to the Tour. Just like when the tchumim the sides overlap, it makes them like one. So when you can go from the bow to the string, because there's no more than 2,000 amos there. Makes them like one, but Ram does not hold that way. Because he says, what difference does it make? If there's more or less than 2,000 amos from the bottom of the U, you can always find a place on the U which is in 2,000 amos over the string, and walk from there to the string. No, sorry. You go around the bow. I feel alafim, right? It's even several thousand amos the bow itself. There's no limit to the size of the city, as long as the houses are sufficiently close to each other. So he's heter hiluch lav klumu. Sorry, the heter to walk. So he says the 2,000 hour from the base of the U doesn't work. That heter doesn't work because anyway you could get there to the string by just walking around the sides of the U. So then what does it make this? So then 2,000 amos or more 2,000 amos on the base of the U. Va'ikar of laschum. The main thing is that the overlap in the tchumim across the U. That's a Rambam. The Torah says, holds that walking where the houses are, I guess that's not a trick. I will shlomo kabatim, but walking where there are no houses, kamo min akeshes la yeser milsu, where you walk from the bow to the string, that is significant. Machlon toli b'sugya is the slash, and there machlekes has to do with how you learn the sugya in the Gemara. The Be'er Halacha says it's very difficult to rely on the Tur, and that's why he says the Ramah and the Bush do not bring the Tur. They only bring Chayyim. The Rambam Chayyim also leaves out the Tur. There's a brackets here. Nunam a base. That's where the sugi is. Imalok Ravuna Krav Krav Breda Rabba who looks like and Trump. This is the Rambam. But Ramah Tur. The Kitzur didn't bring on the Tur in its totality. The those who made their place for Shabbos in the bow, they walked the entire bow, igulav ribuo, in the round parts of it and the square parts of it, until the ends of the bow. Misham alpine, from there you have 2,000 amos. Pshita kenu. It's obviously the case. He writes it's very difficult. Okay, that's amazing. The whole base in Rashi Yotzei Meir, any dwelling place which comes out of which place for dwelling, which comes out of the city. If we had 72 zamas between that house and the city, should sell a base of Sayim Amruba, which is the square root of the base of Sayim when it's square. A box is less than that. I raise him and start for him. It joins with the city. It's considered part of it. When 2,000 we start from outside this dwelling. Of a below base dira, but if there's no base dira, I know you don't give 72 to the city. So that's Rambam, as we have seen. That's the opinion of the Rambam. But that's the the Torah's opinion, as we have seen also, is that you only start 2,000 amos from 72 amos away from the city, regardless. Don't start from the house themselves. But you're not going to buy. You take out the boundary 72 amos from opposite the last house. That's you start counting 200 amos. Because Rabbeinu Ramah, Sif Hegfar is current of Sif we already mentioned this, and Sif Aleph. There's a house within 72 thirds of the city. By Sheni Kol Bayis Rishon, and a second house, which is 72 thirds of the first house. By Shlishi Kol by Sheni B'Shivim Amma, same thing with the third house. Even several days distance. It's like one city. We measure from the last house in this series. The base dira this house has to be 4 by 4 amos. Minimum share of the house, or more than that. If you have a shul sheyesh bo base dira chazonim, which has a place for the chazonim to sleep. Chazonim here usually meant the shamish, not about tefillah. Well, basically that's small, but the shul itself came out of zero. It's supposed to be not made for dwelling. And or can't extend the city yet. Near the base of Medrash, we can base dira. So yes, but that's a shul. But the base Medrash is a base dira. Came shlom dira because they learned there. Umishlo made, and somebody you can eat learns. Ochel v'yashen, you can eat and sleep. Bo in that house in base Medrash. That's a loch. And we can base dira. It's called a base dira. Mechel tzedikah base dira. Bathhouse is not called a base dira. And Kediyesha base there, unless there's a house there for the bathhouse owner or attendant. The base Kilasam, their churches, where their priests have a rectory where they live. And so too warehouses for wine, shaman and oil, and other types of merchandise. Where there is a dwelling place also for the person who has to watch the warehouse. That also is going to be a makom tira. But the warehouse itself, lo maker base, it's not called a dwelling place. Gesher, A bridge, Sheish Beis Dira Shomer Gershon, where the toll collector has a house, that's going to be Beis Dira. V'akever Sheish Beis Dira Shomer, Akever, not even a grave. There's place for the watchman of the grave to sleep there. Those are all considered Beis Dira. Tesla v'chol sheish lem shem makom haroy l'dira, since they have this shame of a dwelling place. But osim la'ibor, and we can make it a bulge over there. Oh, sorry, I skipped. The place suitable for dwelling. Even though nobody's actually living there at the moment. Mikra Beis Dira, the Eiffel Tower, has a secret apartment. I know it's not so secret, but it doesn't matter. In the top of the tower. If the Eiffel Tower didn't have that apartment, it couldn't be an Ibor. I know it's middle Paris, but hypothetically. It couldn't be an Ibor. But since it has a Beis Dira, even though nobody lives there, therefore it could become an Ibor. Also a Ibor. A Makam Shlosh Mechis, a place which says surrounded by 3 walls. Aval Bish Ein Tikra, they don't have a roof. Yeshem Arba, they have 4 by 4 amos. Mikra Beis Dira can be called the Beis Dira. Or Shtei Mechitza Sheshlem Tikra Maziva, or even 2 walls which have on them a ceiling and a roof. And so to a house which is built on the seashore. Shas the final spoken, which we've seen where they put objects from the boat. V'chol elu bein arba amos arba amos. They'll be 4 by 4 amos. Ain't arba amos, we're going to have 4 amos. Aval bisha baruch yesh arba, even though its length is very great. Ain't really the it's not suitable for habitation. Chem mara, also cave. Shesh rabina apia, which has a structure on its opening. Yesh Beis Dira, which has a dwelling. Even the house itself doesn't have 4 by 4 amos, but together with the cave it is 4 by 4 amos. That's okay. But the majority has to be in the house. In that case, you start measuring from the end of the cave, wherever it ends, 3 miles and miles away. As a shivim amos, the 70 amos, from the bais, that's mo. Amos, if the house itself has 4 amos, I think it means the house with the Mara. Yeah. That's good. Don't think so. All these things join together with the city. If they're within 70 and 2/3 amos. Oh, there is a Mishnah Berurah. Mishnah Berurah says that the place which you have Maziva, Tikra Maziva, the ceiling and the roof, that's a typo. Maziva is not necessary. You don't have the roof, you have a ceiling. And that's it's not mentioned in Gemara. And although the Bir Halacha says it is found in the Smag and Avodas HaKodesh. Anything else? No. Yeah. Okay, because again, Tesai, all these join together, and they're within 72 Zarmot. Also, Bayis Hayotze, and for that house, which created that bulge, looking as if there's a string which goes, even though the bulge is like this, you make a string on that entire side. You can't measure from that imaginary string 2,000 amos. If there are 2 such houses on 2 sides of the city, one to the north and one to the south, Shabura says that 2 batim is a mistake. But there are batim like this opposite to 2 ends of the city. Okay, I think it sounds a bit semantics to me. But anyway, then yeah. So there are 2 houses, one north, one south. It's like a city which is like a boat. There are many houses, and to get more than 2,000 cities almost in the city. Then the status of the city vis-a-vis the Ibor, the Iburim, I guess it's like, you have like there's a city, and you have 2 Iburim coming out, one over here, one over there. Both in the same direction, but they're Iburim which are separate from each other. So, Dino Kedina Sirkesh, that's like see, which is made like a boat. It depends how the difference between the sides of the U are. It's like a Sal Sukkah, it only goes on one side and not on the other side. I think it's so. Um, uh, Nearly dear Kiara coming up. It's like the sea which looks like a dollar. She's zero to a dollar because that is the way a dollar looks. Pialoga says several Rishonim hold that if it's a house which is added on to the city, its parameters are more lenient than that of a bow, and even the gap between the two rows, the two outcroppings of additional houses is more than 4,000 amos. You still measure the tchum from the last house. And also, if it went out on one side, if you only have the pusher with the bulge on one side, you measure the tchum of the city from the last house on that side, and that's true even if you're going on the other side. In other words, here's where the the 72 thirds the house area 72 thirds amos exist. This side over here they don't exist, so you can go out on this side corresponding to the amount you can go out this side plus the 2,000 amos besides it. Um, uh, and it says, "May you can rely upon this b'shas adchak." Okay, back to Arukh HaShulchan. Um, V'mitzad echad yotzi lo mitzad shekaz on one side, on the other side, you're digging gam shizah raised to the style. V'day shon the matur mashali. The season toward the hach the shloshim mechitz system with three walls. She'ein alayim tikkus don't have a roof on them. Shnayim sheish lam on or two walls which do have a roof. Zeu kshaboi beish nechava. That's okay if it's left over from a complete house which then got ruined. But now lechatchila you have such a structure. But if you have two walls without a roof, people live in that area. About Geshem Kever based Filasam and a bridge and a grave and the church Va'otzer and the warehouse She'em Ben Beis Dir, which do not have dwelling places inside them. Va'bor Va'siach Va'mara, and a well and a pit and a cave. Ba'shovach and a dovecot Ba'ishasmina and a cabin in a boat. Shein Lakvias, if it's not the boat is not set in place. All those ain't starting why they don't join together the city. Okay, now Burganim Shosim Shomri Peros, Luginos, and so the little huts which are made by people who are the scarecrows. They're watching the fields. With Shomri Air or people watching the city, ain't even anymore. They're not measured like 72 thirds amos. They show right because they're just temporary structures. The dafka mamakam shishchiche ganve oksame shofim osam. I guess the place where somebody gone over, they constantly have to be on the move, or their rangers constantly knock these structures down. The Zel B'Shomer here, but he says that's by the city watch people. B'Shomer is people watching gardens, how they arrive. It's always alright, no matter what. There's no permanence to it, and it's only a small time when you're planting or harvesting a garden. Those might say the Burgan those little huts which joined together with the city, have a gam she'en ba'arbamas. It's also when it isn't 4x4. It's astonishing to say such a thing. Which moreover brings the Shari Tshuva which is that Burgundy are mitzvah, even though they don't have 4 amos. I guess because for their purpose, which is safeguarding, that's sufficient. They don't have to have 4x4 amos, only for dwelling. But Arukh HaShulchan says the Dover Tamur. It says in brackets, I know what he's talking about. Even if it's a light structure like a shack or a lean-to, and that way, right? The right it seems correct. Supposed to be able to watch fields and fruit, which is pretty much constant. How you stay? The two cities, and it's between them 141 and a third or less amos, 72 thirds each one. Today, Shiva Amos, Shirai Muzu, Shiva Amos, Shirai Muzu. Hashim is taking Erachas, all considered together like one city. Says Koliar no say so each of the cities, Malachas Ereshnia, can go to the next city, and through the entire city, the clock still doesn't start ticking. until the Chutz Lapayim Amos, until they get outside the city on the other side, and then they have another 2,000 Amos. The Shabura says, of course, that according to the Shrit of Torah, first they have to give 72 Amos, and then the 2,000 afterwards. If you have the wall of the city which got busted open from two sides, one opposite the other. The houses between these two breaches were within 141 and a third amma. It's as if that gap is closed. One house. If it's very huge, doesn't have a size as a city. Let's say Shrine to give it the 72 amos. Unless it's within 72 amos of the city. The city is not specifically a city. Within fire, within fire, saying to a village, which has its own name as a unit, and it's not a collection of individual houses. If there are 3 chatzeres and each chatzer 2 people, then it's called a city in terms of giving it an ibur.